which I'm the president of Ninos con Autismo de San Miguel de Allende, and I'm a mother of an adult now who's 19 years old, who has autism.
Good afternoon, I'm Joyce Brunis. I am the secretary to the board, and we want to thank you very much to have the opportunity to talk to you today. Ninos con Autismo was founded in 2014, and our mission is very specific. We identify, evaluate using the most up-to-date pruebas tests, that are available right now, and then we create individualized therapy plans for these kids. The therapy plan can be a little bit of everything. It can be some basic education, it can be living skills. In many cases with many of our students or many of our children, that education plan focuses on communication. I will tell you a little bit of a story about that in a second. The pandemic, like everybody else, has affected us dramatically. Our center, which is located up near the General Hospital in Ignacio Ramirez, has been closed since the middle of March. However, that said, we have a wonderful director, Sabrina Vergara, and our therapist jumped on the opportunity. They have been able to create and continue therapies for 60% of our students. And those of you who know autism, you know how critical that is, because any missed therapy is a seriously missed opportunity. If you're not familiar with autism, Rocio mentioned that she has a son. I happen to have two nieces, who are adult nieces, who also have autism. So we have some familiarity, and to explain autism, Rocio told me one day, and she probably doesn't even remember this, Rocio said to me, autism is like a sensory storm. If we were sitting here in this room, how many different things do you hear? What happens with a child with autism is that it is very difficult to focus on one thing. We may have a cat and a dog fighting outside. You've got the wind blowing. You've got cars coming past. You know that cat is in trouble. If you have a child with autism or a young adult with autism, they are not going to be able to focus on that. I want to share a few success stories. Toilet training is a big deal. And any of you who are mothers know that toilet training is a big deal. But usually you're done with it by age 2, maybe 3, but 2. We have had a success story that one of our students, one of our children, actually is now toilet trained. That may not sound like a big deal. This child is 8. So that's huge. We have another situation where some of you may have heard this story. One of our children had a 6-word vocabulary. 6 words. Do you know how limiting that world becomes when you have 6 words at your disposal? Our therapist went through a training session for something called PECS. PECS is a pictorial communication system. And now that mother has been trained, and she has been able to work with that child. That child now can communicate. Not greatly, but they can communicate. And one other success story, we now have our first young adult who is enrolled in college. And if you talk about a beacon of hope, that's what somebody said to me the other day. What would we use the money for? We want to be able, obviously, to continue our sessions. We need to be purchasing some evaluative materials. We want to continue to provide sessions for not only the children that we have now, but even more important is continuing outreach into the communities. And that, I will tell you, is where we need the help of everybody who is in this room. We have done a postcard, this happens to be in Spanish. Please take some of these with you. We need your help. The other thing, if there are NGOs or you know of an NGO who deals with children, please come talk to us. Because there are a couple different things that might happen, but one of the things that could potentially be happening is our director is working on a series of seminars. These seminars are designed for NGOs not only children with autism, but NGOs who are working with kids. So please help us. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk today. Rocio?
Yeah, just quick statistics. Now there's one child with autism born out of 59 births. So it's really a pandemic. It's a silent epidemic, I call it. It's happening. There's a lot of need out there, and we want to reach them, and that's why we need the means to create more conscience. There's a lot of parents who do not know what's wrong with the kids. They lock them up, they don't get the therapy, and the sooner they get it, the better. So that's why we need some more resources to be able to reach the community. Thank you.
Just to let you know, in the community, based on the statistics, there's somewhere between 400 and 400 kids out there that, as they say, are on the spectrum. And there's no help.
Bottom line is we have tremendous opportunities, and we need your help, guys. Please.
They have 2 minutes. 2 minutes for questions.
I have a question. So what's the geography you serve? Where are the kids from? Anywhere San Miguel, Greater San Miguel?
The question is, where are the children coming from? Our kids, if you'll allow me to use that, come from not only San Miguel, but the surrounding rural communities. So we serve a very, very large area. Thank you for the question. Nada más? Oh, one more.
So, if these children are at home, is there any future for that? Some computers, and there are, they say, out in Silicon Valley is people who are on the spectrum, you know? And so are there, will we see anything like that, or are we just waiting to be able to?
I think there are two parts to that question. The first part is, are there opportunities? And I agree with you. Silicon Valley has been a wonderful resource for autistic children. We have had ongoing conversations with various NGOs here in San Miguel because there are opportunities for these kids. And as they get a little bit older, most of our kids are 6, 7, and 8. But also, as I mentioned, Rocio's son, who is autistic, started college. So yeah, there are great opportunities for these kids, and we just need to be on top of them. Yes, ma'am.
The card you have, I'm just thinking, how do you get your referrals if people don't know about it?
We have a very good working relationship with Patronato por Ninos, and they refer to us, and we in turn will refer back to them if we have kids that, if you will, that we can help. Again, as I mentioned before, we have had additional conversations with other NGOs. There are a variety of ways that our children can come to us. We are actually getting a lot of children through our Facebook page, believe it or not. People are finding us. So, again, with your help, there will be more who find us. Yes?
2 questions over here.
Oh. Yes, we do. We have to, the question is, are we doing evaluations for autism? Yes, the evaluations are actually there's several tests that we use. Some are specifically for autism, some are based upon intelligence, and we have different tests for different ages, as you can appreciate. One more, Francoise.
Do you provide any counseling for the families?
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We actually do workshops for our parents. And that could be something on PECS, which I mentioned is a pictorial communication process. Rocio, you actually could probably...
Yes, it's like a support group. We help each other, and there's several topics we talk about, from psychology to, sexuality, and other topics that are relevant for kids.
Thank you, thank you.